Morning. I wanted to talk about drug culture in prison. It's kind of an interesting parallel once again, prison to outside of prison. I grew up with a mom who got hooked on amphetamines when I was 9 years old. She had had my youngest brother, and the OBGYN actually started feeding her amphetamines so she could get back to her pre pregnancy weight. The problem was she was on them over 6 weeks and became addicted to them. And then he cut her off. So she found a Monday doctor, a Tuesday doctor, and each one didn't know about the other. So she had 5 doctors she would see in a week. She'd take a week's worth in a day, sleep it off on Saturday, and Sunday she was actually our mom. She had overdosed twice. My dad found her each time. And she'd be very angry at the emergency service because she would wind up either in the county, they used to call it mental hospital, or finally we had her located to a private hospital in central New Jersey. And there she spent a month. And I resented having to go, not that I didn't want to see my mother, but that I had to go to Al Anon. And the last thing I wanted to do was hear other people's horrible experiences because I was living through my own. I eventually stopped going. I found it more therapeutic for me to speak with friends who actually knew me, cared about me, and were not privy to what goes on with drug culture. Fortunately, by the grace of God, my mother never looked to the street for drugs. I think that would have really killed her. She was in a very bad car accident where they found her in the passenger wheel well. No one knew how she got there, but she had broken a bunch of ribs. It was bad. How she lived through it, we still don't know. Maybe God really does look after children in trunks. I don't know. Flash forward now, she became a dry drunk. She gave up drinking when I was pregnant with my son, and it didn't change her personality at all, but at least her body was sober. And then when I wound up in prison, I cannot tell you how many people are there for something drug related. I have never used recreational drugs. People find that hard to believe. I found my mother's behavior so disgusting and repulsive, I had absolutely no interest. So I'm exposed to all these people who are drug sick, dope sick, withdrawing, and it's really disturbing. What's more disturbing is to watch on Saturdays and Sundays at visits. And you could see there were certain women who would get very nervous waiting for a visitor. And occasionally a police car would show up, and that visitor was taken away in handcuffs. They were bringing drugs in, and they'd bring it in food bags. Some people had drugs put on paper, where you can you can actually put it on a sheet of paper, and that's how it's received. Some things were hidden in the soles of shoes, in the middle of cereal bags. Hence, all of the things we were restricted to receive because of the way people were trying to bring contraband in. There were several officers who were escorted off of the facility because of using drugs, and they found them in a search, which that was even more interesting. But the point I want to bring up, if you're arrested for using drugs and you have a prison sentence, the drug programs in prison will not help you. I can't tell you how many women go through them. It does nothing because they're not ready to give up any part of drugs. So it's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. But more than that, how can you punish somebody for an addiction which is considered an illness? So a judge sends you to prison. There's your sentence. And then you're punished again while you're in prison by going to lock or having things removed, or LOL, which is not laughing out loud. It's a loss of life, meaning there's no freedom whatsoever. You're put in a special unit where you're allowed to shower, I think it's twice a week, and I believe it's 1 10-minute phone call. I don't know, things might have changed because I've been out a while. But it's like double and triple jeopardy. How can you punish somebody for the very thing that's making them sick. So certainly the system has to change in a way that I'm not saying there shouldn't be some kind of, and I hate to use the word punishment, so maybe consequence. So maybe people who come into prison with addictions need to go to an extended rehabilitation place where it only deals with the drugs, the mental health piece, the physical piece. And there are places around that I have worked at where you stay a year, and they're farms. You make your body strong. You've got to grow the food you eat. You have to take care of the animals that are slaughtered. You have to go to the gym. It's all things to create a healthy body. Prison is not the place for that. And that's why I truly believe New York State docs is so draconian. They need to get with the times. It's the research is out there. The information is there. Why won't they use it? I think it comes down to money. It's cheaper to house somebody than it is to actually train so-called correction officers to be able to handle people who are sick and don't need their custody, care, and control. They need help. Prison's not there to help you. I'm not sure how to change it, but it's something I'd like to do. Enjoy your weekend.